seminar here. We're going to do equine reproduction. That here at Dennis Schlabach right beside me for Romp N Play Stables. So we're going to start with that at 4 o'clock and 4:30. Obviously, we've got mirror meetings and genetics, and then as well as 5 o'clock, we've got race quality rules. So the 5:30 seminar, and then make it to the event here. So they're going to bump up the progeny presentation to begin a little bit earlier with that. Just to kind of dig into that 5:30 slot. So we're ready to kick it off with the equine reproduction hosted here. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dennis. I'm glad. Introduction. We offer reproduction services. Give you answers to questions. We'll go through those, try to explain what we're doing. So Dennis, with obviously you've done a lot of the reproduction, you've produced lots of horses that went on to be great horses, either in the show ring and the harness horse world, I'm sure with the standardbred industry as well. What is probably the most important thing to do to maintain a healthy reproduction system? I know there's diets, there's nutrition, there's exercise. What seems to be one of the most important things to you as a professional in the industry? To me, the most important thing is nutrition, hands down. Starting with good quality forage, alfalfa hay, and then your minerals and compresses and stuff to top that off. Fresh water, have a good proper nutrition will definitely help you when you go to frequent pairs to get them full and all that. So nutrition is definitely my number one go-to. Then exercise obviously is also important. That is secondary to your nutrition, whether it be forced exercise, where you're working them or just turned out, where they can kick up their heels and get their blood pumping and get their gut holding. That's definitely important to be able to do that. You can also use lights. You can use lights and to stimulate them to start their cycle earlier in the spring. Typically, it'll take you about 45 to 60 days under lights in order to get them to be cycling earlier. So we start them under lights around Thanksgiving. And we go 6 hours off and 18 hours on with the lights. And if you do that, if you start them around Thanksgiving, typically they'll be starting to go through their transition cycle in January, and usually by February we should be able to start breeding. We usually don't breed on the first cycle. It's not that the first cycle isn't actually
lot harder to track that cycle because of the transition will be bouncing in and out. They'll come in to show signs of heat for a couple of days, and their follicle activity will go back down. It goes in waves, so that'll do that for, it can go all the way to 5-6 weeks. But typically, if once they're under lights, they go through that transition in January or February, you should be able to start breeding and move forward from there.
Very good, very good. So the next question we've got here is what do synthetic hormones do to the reproduction system? Is it good to use synthetic hormones, or is it more important not to use them? Are they good for the system?
So synthetic hormones, what they're talking about is your estimate, your lutalized stuff to stimulate them to cycle. Those can all be good in their place, but they definitely need to be used for a reason. We don't like to use those just to use them, just to get them to cycle earlier. We have to have a reason. So, for example, if you miss your cycle, let's say you order semen in from a ship semen, from a stallion, or ship semen in, and FedEx messes up, because that does happen. They don't get there in time. The mare's already out of it by the time semen gets there. What a lot of people want to do is just, we're just going to short cycle and bring it right back around. It can be done, but highly necessary. So if you're not careful, before we know what happens, we completely mess up that mare's system, where she doesn't even know where she's actually supposed to be cycling. And the max you can gain is about 12 days when you short cycle. So I would much rather let them go the natural 12-day cycle and then reorder semen and go from there. We do use those drugs in scenarios where we're lining up, we do a lot of iron transfers, we have to line up recipient pairs, where we stimulate them to time them, but just to give them a shot, to get them approximately 12 days earlier. My go-to is always, I don't think foal's going to be worth $10,000, $15,000 more because it's 12 days earlier when it's full. So I'd rather let them go the natural cycle and let them come in like that.
Absolutely. Very good. Very good. As far as what protocols do you use for say a problem mare? Say I have a mare, obviously me being the Amish coming in, I don't have an idea of equine reproduction, so to speak. Where you use mandates, or use process of elimination, what's a good thing?
So that's a good question. What do you do with a problem there? So I guess first of all, we're going to have to boil down to the bottom of what is the problem, why is the mare not conceiving, and in order to figure that out, you have to use a process of elimination. So you start by checking off the boxes. Did you look at the semen when it came in? Under the microscope, was the semen good? Was it quality? Was it clean? Was it fertile? As far as, did you have a lot of swimmers? Had your mare already ovulated before you put the semen in? Or did you follow up the following morning after you put it in there and confirm that she did actually ovulate when she was supposed to? Once you got all those boxes checked and you're still sitting there with the open mare, did you culture her? Is she dirty? Does she retain fluid after she's bred? So we like to follow up after we breed them, ultrasound. If I can figure out if she's retaining fluid, if she is, we'll help them. We'll give them oxytocin or we'll flush them and work all that fluid out of that uterus the best we can. I'm going to jump back to the synthetic hormones. Another drug that we use, and this one I do definitely lean on heavily, that is Nezarelin. Nezarelin, Hysterelin, and HCG. Those drugs were designed to stimulate ovulation. And they do work almost like clockwork, especially Nezarelin and Hysterelin. I don't have quite as good success with the HCG as I do the other two. But the Nezarelin, if your mare has a lot of edema in her uterus and she has a mid-40 follicle, we will definitely be giving them the Nezarelin shot and ordering semen. So that shot will stimulate them to ovulate approximately 36 to 42 hours after you get it. And we do a lot of time ovulation with frozen semen. And it's really close to clockwork in your 36 to 42 hour window if she has a DD. That's one thing that is definitely stretched. You always have to have a DD in the uterus in order for the drug to work. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday is typical like chicken days for most staffing facilities. So on those mornings, a lot of times we start ultrasounding mares between 2 and 3 a.m. We roll through all the mares that are semen. And if they meet the box with 40 plus follicles, good enough edema, then we're giving shots at that time and ordering semen. FedEx usually gets to us around noon the following day. Then in the afternoon, we're inseminating them. So if you do your math, that's right around 36 hours after you gave your shot. Then the following morning, approximately 12 hours later, we'll be ultrasounding them again, just confirming that they did indeed ovulate. Because if they didn't, once you break check it there, it's just open. If you did not follow up that following morning, confirm that you did ovulate, you have nothing. That's where your process of elimination comes in. You have nothing to go by to know what the reason was that you didn't conceive. Because if she didn't ovulate, she can't conceive.
Very good, very good. At what point, like, say for instance, I've got an older mare, is there, I mean, can you test her to see if she is no longer breeding? I mean, as far as it being, her being breeding sound, I can say it correctly. At one point in time, the decide that mare is no longer, I guess, producing the eggs. Is that something we can? Okay, yeah. So can an embryo transfer be done on any mare, including older mares that are still producing eggs?
Another good question. That's another good question as far as embryo transfers goes. So you can do embryo transfers on older mares for sure, and that's a good place to do them on. They're actually embryo transfers are more fun to do on young mares where you know they're fertile and they're all good because their success rate is much higher. But where that actually comes into play a lot is where your uterus isn't good enough where she can carry the baby full term, or she has other issues, she's too old to carry them. Then you can lean on embryo transfers. But the question is, can embryo transfer be done in all mares as long as they are still producing follicles and eggs, fertile follicles, fertile eggs in their follicles, if I can say it correctly, you should still be able to produce embryos. Now, on some occasions when your cervix gets worn, actually had a mare that was the case. Cervix was torn so bad that you couldn't even hold the catheter in the uterus to retrieve that embryo. So we had to lean on the ICSI process and do an ICSI on her because she was still fertile, she was still producing the eggs, but there was no way of harvesting the embryo because of the cervix, what condition it was in. So that's some of the stuff that you have to figure out on your early mares, and then also, like if they're pulling urine or retaining a lot of fluid in their uterus, you have to get rid of the fluid for at least that first 7 to 8 days. We tend to do the embryo transfer on day 8 after insemination. So their uterus has to be dry, it has to be clean. You have up to day 6 after insemination to get the uterus completely clean. So that embryo will not drop out of the fallopian tube until day 6. So after we inseminate, we'll follow up. If the mares are retaining fluid, we'll put in catheters, we'll flush them, try to get them clean, try to get them empty. And we have already flushed mares all the way up to day 5 after insemination and retrieved an embryo on day 8. And the reason we kept on flushing her is because she just kept on getting more fluid the following day. We were fortunate enough to keep it dry for the 2 days, day 6 and 7, and then early on day 8, we flushed her and we got an embryo that is actually Romp Stables. John Huffer owns that mare, and we did an embryo transfer for them. Very good, very good. When the mare aborts, what should be done? Let her handle things on her own, or should we ask? So, if a mare aborts, I actually had a call last 2 weeks ago from a lady in Ohio that her mare aborted, and she wanted to know what to do. So, make sure. Have somebody go and palpate, make sure that she passes all the placenta when she aborted, because she will get infected if she did not pass all that placenta off. That actually goes not only in an abortion, but also normal foaling. If they don't pass all that placenta off, they will get infected with spike fever. And you have to get it all out of there. We actually, when a mare foals, we will clean them within the first 10 minutes after she's full. The placenta will all be out. And I'm happy to, if somebody has any questions about that, if you want to come back to our stalls afterward, I'll try to explain how that's done. You can't pull on the umbilical cord But if you just put a steady pressure on the placenta, you can literally peel it right off. Picture millions of little suction cups. The placenta is completely attached all the way around the uterine wall. And you can literally feel those little suction cups peeling off of the uterine wall as it's cleaning. That's very important, making sure that that is all out there. But back to the mare that works, use oxytocin, never more than a cc at a time. So sometimes people think, well, we'll just give her 3 cc at one time and really get her cleaned out. Well, your oxytocin happens is it makes the mare's uterus contract. The way the oxytocin is designed, it'll contract and release. Like maybe 1 cc at a time, and then every 30 to 45 minutes, repeat 1 cc at a time, you'll get a building effect. If you give 3 cc at a time, only thing you'll gain is one really hard contraction, and the chance of actually her pushing her uterus. So, highly discouraged, maybe more than a cc at a time. Better to just 1 cc at a time and just repeat it more often. If a mare produces a live foal, the baby stands up, nurses, she will automatically produce oxytocin on her own. We still give oxytocin shots even when the baby's nursed, but it's much more important in the case of a mare aborts, because then you don't have the baby nursing and stimulating that natural oxytocin.
Very good, very good. So if I've got a pregnant mare, and obviously I'm driving the mare, and I notice she's fighting, she's not handling the bit well. Can dental work be done on a pregnant mare, or will that cause an issue?
So dental work on pregnant mares can definitely be done. So just doing dental work on a pregnant mare is not going to produce any prostaglandins. Your prostaglandins is what causes your mare to abort. High stress levels can create prostaglandins. And that, so your prostaglandins, that is actually your estimate, your luteinized, what I was talking about earlier, the synthetic hormones, that is a prostaglandin. That's what lyses the CL off when they ovulate originally. So when it lyses that CL off, it makes them come back into heat. So if they're pregnant and they produce prostaglandins on their own because of let's say they spike a fever, they get seriously stressed out. That can make them produce prostaglandins on their own, and it'll lyse that CL, and that will make them abort. But just for regular dental work, on your average mare, you won't have an issue. But if you got a mare that's like super crazy hot, and you start working in her mouth, and you stretch her out, that's where she can stimulate prostaglandins and cause trouble. But otherwise, just as an average mare, should be perfectly fine.
So if I've got a big back looking mare that basically is our family horse, and she's typically very well laid back, I'll probably be fine if I have high strong mare I can have her boards.
That is correct. Like, just your average horse, you'll be perfectly fine. And that goes not only with dental, even with driving. Like, if you got a mare that you bred a week ago, she's just short term, a week after the breeder, I I try to, you can work them, but in the hot summer months, I try to be careful. Don't go out and ride your mare 15 miles 5 days after you're spending the money, your hard-earned money, to breed her, because all you're doing is you're creating stress for the mare, especially in hot weather. And that's where they stimulate those prostaglandins that I talked about. And if that happens, she'll license you up, and she'll lose her pregnancy. Sometimes she'll actually lose it before you can pick it up on your ultrasound. Like they can actually be pregnant, be stressed out enough to the point where they lose it before, even before you get to 2 weeks to 18 days.
Very good. Very good. Well, I think that concludes the questions of the seminar here we had here from Dennis. So we certainly appreciate Dennis. Let's all go ahead and give him a round of applause. Dennis said if anybody has any questions, you're more than welcome to step back ask back at the stalls. He's going to be back at the stalls located on the far end of the arena.